We are wrapping up this month's series, Holy Boldness. And today's theme is colorful to the core. So we kicked off the month by talking about this idea of holy boldness, that with being sacred audacity, right? What would it be to live your life so audacious, so bold, so courageous, so empowered that you are the divine itself? And to listen to that inner wisdom and guidance to express through you in many ways. And it takes a certain audacity to claim your birthright, to claim this truth, yes? To stand in the fullness of your divine nature and to not let things of this world take you down, but to stand in so solid in the love light that you are that you can't help but let it shine through. Yes. So today we are going to look at this idea how each of us are that unique expression of the one. And we talk about this idea of oneness. It's one of our core principles. And sometimes people can get it confused thinking, well, if we're all one, then we're all the same. And I'm sure if you look around this room, you will know and see that truly we are not all the same. We may have similar values, similar life experiences that draw us to be a part of this community, but we are all unique. We all have our own ideas and ways of living life and being this thing called life. And that is what makes this community and this world so beautiful, yes? If we were to walk around all the same, the world would be dull. But as these colorful flowers remind us, there is beauty all around in the expression of each of our lights, and not only singularly, but when we put it together, it becomes a rainbow. And I'm just going to talk a minute about this idea of a rainbow, because most of you know that my parents actually named me Rainbow. I didn't choose it for myself, and yet perhaps I did on some level, right? And rainbow is symbolic of so many things. Some people will tell you it's the promise of God, right? The rainbow. It is seen in nature, and most people, in my experience, when they see a rainbow, it's not just like another everyday moment, right? What do? You stop and, oh, it's a rainbow. I know, because many of you take pictures and then send it to me. Which I love. Please continue to do. So rainbows are this phenomenon seen in nature. And what makes a rainbow? Tell me, y'all, what makes a rainbow? Water. Well, light, humidity, sunlight, right? Yeah. So it's not just light, and it's not just water. It's the combination and the reflection of the light upon the water, yes? And so we see rainbows now have come to be also known as the symbol of pride with the rainbow flag back in the 70s, I believe it originated. Somebody's going to fact check me on my queer history, y'all. And so rainbows are also symbolic a lot. They kind of represent kind of this childlike, right? A lot of child stories or daycares and different things might use rainbows as symbology. So we are all a unique expression of the one light. And when we come together it creates this beautiful prism. And we all need each other to create this beautiful rainbow. Not just the light and not just the days when we are feeling the love and the joy, but the days that we're feeling the rain, the teardrops of the sadness and the grief that perhaps may be on our heart. That too is a part of who we are. And how can we embrace it all? So that to me is part of the gift of the rainbow as well. And it reminds us to look up. Like we talked about last week, that simple practice of when you feel stuck or when you feel caught in that fight or flight, wanting to respond or defend, or rather react instead of responding, to pause, put your hands on your heart and look up. How many of y'all remember that this week? Show of hands. Few, yeah. I know I did a few times. Yes. Dr. Ernest Holmes says, we are all just a little unique, for each wears a different face, but behind each is the one presence, God. Unity does not mean uniformity. Unity means that everything draws its strength and its power and its ability to live from the one source. So we are all expressing uniquely, and yet it is the one life expressing through us that is seeking to know itself more fully. And we all have unique gifts and ways that we like to share and express. So as today is Volunteer Appreciation Sunday, I want to open up to this idea for each to reflect on what are our unique ways of serving and expressing and giving to life. Because the core of life, as we begin to evolve into this heart consciousness that we talked about last week, evolving as a collective into the center of heart consciousness, calls us into greater service. It moves us from this sacral chakra energy of our own personal power into our heart, where that can be channeled out into expression through service. So I want to pause here, and I want you to take a moment and think of what is one of your gifts or strengths or abilities or talents, and turn to someone and share that with them. Boldly, be audacious, and share. What is one of your unique ways of being and sharing your light? If you're online, please put it in the chat. Yes. And now I want you to reflect on how often are you related to that? Meaning, are you present to your gifts and talents and your unique love light, right? Think about that. Do you move through the day with that awareness and with the ability to offer that in service to others? Or did it take you a minute to even think about it, right? Have you perhaps fallen asleep on yourself and forgotten? And there's no right or wrong, no judgment here. What we know is when we become aware, when we do these little exercises, that is the place from which we can move forward, right? And perhaps there's something new, because we are always growing and expanding, and maybe there's a way that you've always considered yourself expressed, or things that people have often complimented you on, but maybe today there's something new emerging that feels more exciting, that brings that aliveness to you as a new way of expressing. And if that's not coming to your awareness now, maybe you want to just get curious about that. Ask Spirit, is there some way that I am now being called to serve and to give? Is there something new that I would like to enhance, study, learn, grow in my ability to stand stronger in this love light that I am? One of the best practices that we can do to cultivate this awareness, self-awareness of the love light that we are, is spending the first waking moments of your day anchoring into your heart space, right? I'm going to offer this affirmation or mantra for this week's practice. Love, empower me today to live from my heart. So when you wake up and you start to notice perhaps any sensations in your body, or you're noticing the mental chatter, or you start to become aware of, oh, I gotta go, I'm running late, whatever it is, just pause. Place your hands over your heart and say, love, empower me to live from my heart today. Setting that simple intention, right, allows us not to get caught up in the mind and the ego and those habitual thought patterns that would have us running around doing a whole bunch of stuff to try to prove our worth. Pause. Listen to your heart. Feel the love. And then set that intention to let your unique light shine in service to the evolution of our collective consciousness. Everything is an expression of the one life. And as we begin to move into appreciation of the deep beauty of nature, of the unique expressions of each beloved around us, as we move into appreciation and noticing art and music, all the things that make us feel this aliveness, we are connecting and remembering life itself. This practice allows us to choose to remember that love is alive and available within me now in all things. So I invite you to open your heart, to listen, to be of service, and to turn to appreciation and to be willing to see the beauty around you. For in order for someone to be of service, the other end of that coin is that there is someone or something receiving, yes? So where are you in that balance of sharing and serving your love light and being willing to receive? Often we live on one end of the spectrum or another. Some folks live more highly in the giving and the service, such that we can be self-forgetting. And others may live more in the receiving, that we forget that we are the light itself and we are empowered and we have something to give also. So I invite you, we're going to do another interactive moment, to first think, and then you're going to choose to someone, and not your whole life, but in this current few months, where do you find yourself living from? Are you somewhere in the middle of the giving and the receiving balance? Or do you find yourself perhaps leaning more towards giving or leaning more towards receiving and feeling like you're not quite in touch with what you have to give? Is that clear? Your kind of choices of the spectrum? All right, so think about it in a minute. Just reflect the past few months. Turn to someone, maybe someone new, someone different. It's okay to even move if you want to move around. And we invite you online. Every time I go to talk to the camera, a frog comes in my throat. Type it in the chat as well. Go ahead and share. On the spectrum. Where are you on the spectrum of giving or receiving, sharing of your unique love, light, energy, of your talents, receiving the support and service of others? And maybe different relationships or different areas of your life, you find yourself in different places, yeah? Yeah. So take a few moments to wrap up your sharing. Yes. Take another moment, breathe. Just drop into your heart space again. Notice any sensations in the body. Is your body giving you clues? Perhaps that your mind is giving more meaning to that giving is good or better, or receiving is good or better, right? Is just notice your mind, your body, what's going on when you're contemplating this. And are you willing to see the full spectrum and to invite in the balance and to realize that truly it is life giving to itself? You are simply the conduit. And in some moments, life is giving to itself to you as you are open to receive and in need and support. And in some moments, life is giving of itself through you when others are in need of support. And it's not good or bad. It simply is, because there is only one. And that is life, divine, spirit itself expressing wholly through you in each moment. So our opportunity this week is to be present and to be aware and to anchor into that heart space, always asking, Spirit, what is mine to do? Love, lead the way. What does my heart need today? And in the sacred invitation, I invite you finally to reflect on this idea of service. So many of you in this room are committed volunteers to this community, but also in other aspects of your life. And to check in with yourself, what is your motivation to serve? What calls you to be of service? Are you giving to get? Are you giving out of expectation or obligation? Are you giving because you can't help but give? Because you see a need or an ask or request, and before you even think about it, your heart leaps into action? And just contemplate this. Why do you serve? And is there an opportunity to get into right relationship with service in your own life? Yes. All right, let's take a deep breath. I'm smelling that food, y'all. So we're going to move into prayer. So grateful to open our hearts here and now, to recognize the one life that is love, that is peace, that is joy. This one expressing in, as, and through all, as beauty, as joy, as harmony, as peace. This one life that is love, knowing that love is who I am. Love is all that there is. Life is living itself through me today. So I speak this word on behalf of all those hearing the sound of my voice this day. I speak this word on behalf of all those who are in need of a prayer this day, knowing that we are each unique, authentically expressed beings of light. And how good it is to remember this truth, that we get to shine forth by giving of our time and our talent and our treasure. We get to shine forth and be that reflection of the divine in the many nuanced ways and colorful expressions that we are. So I choose this day to remember that life is always giving unto itself. And I remain open to allow that love to lead the way. I'm so grateful. So grateful to know this truth. So grateful to be willing to see the beauty and the color all around. For truly, we are each colorful to the core. So with great gratitude for the fulfillment of this prayer, I release it now into the action of the law that always says, yes, my beloved, it is done, and it is so. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. All right.